Well, as you may have guessed by now, I'm Worth Weller, and I'd like to welcome you to Unit 1 of W131 Internet. I've taught this class for 8 or 9 years online, and one of the things I like to think about is I like to think about your success. My goal is to have you succeed in this class. And I can guarantee you, the way I've set it up after all these years, is you will succeed if you do the work. I know many of you are kind of nervous about taking English in college, about taking composition, but I want to assure you that if you do the work, you'll get the grade. You'll find I'm a very fair grader, but then I expect you to do the work. So speaking of which, what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you how the class is laid out, and I'd like to tell you that at the beginning of every unit you're going to see and hear me like this in a video to kind of help walk you through the overview of the unit. Now the unit materials are actually right here in front of you in Blackboard, okay? What you'll see below is you see 3 icons. On the left you see the class information folder, very important folder, that's where your syllabus is. Get to that in a second. Then in the middle you see your course content folder, and that's where you're going to live. Everything you need to know about the course in terms of actually doing the work is in that course content folder. Everything you actually do, you've got to submit inside that course content folder there. And then on the right, you'll see my office hours, and I would really like to encourage you to meet with me. We do this online. We do this in a virtual environment. We can either do it through Blackboard Chat, which isn't too bad, too hard, or we can do it through Skype. I prefer Skype because it's a little bit more interactive. I have a camera and a mic. You don't need to have a camera, okay? You need a mic so you can hear me and talk to me. So either way, it's fine. Go to that office hours folder and you'll see how to get a hold of me and how to set up a virtual office appointment with me. So back to the class information folder. In there you have your syllabus. The syllabus is your course Bible. It unfolds the goals of the course for you. It unfolds all of the policies, including the late policy. I'd just like to tell you right now I don't accept late papers. This course is very heavily sequenced, moves along very quickly. It's not a hard course if you do the work. If you don't do the work, though, you get behind very quickly and you find that it's overwhelming. All right, everything unfolds in a weekly fashion. There's work every single solitary week. The course itself is designed in terms of units. All right, this is Unit 1. We're talking about, quote, the rhetorical situation. We're trying to get you accustomed to composition in college, its goals, some of its terms, that kind of thing. Then there's a Unit 2, then there's a Unit 3, and so forth, which you'll actually see as you go into the course content folder. But right now we're going to concentrate on Unit 1, which is, if you look in there, you'll see how many weeks it is. It's 4 weeks long. And after that comes Unit 2, then Unit 3, etc. But right now we'll stay with Unit 1, okay? Basically every week, just about, you're going to have some discussions that are due. You need to get in there early in the week, start the discussions. You need to make one original post to what I call the thread. I give you a topic, I say, okay, make some comments on this topic. So you do that. Then you need to comment on what 2 of your peers had to say. This is what makes a discussion, going back and forth. And then you need to comment on what I had to say. What I do is I get in there and I look at your comments, and then I also make a global comment. The only place I respond is I kind of respond globally to the whole class, to what I see going on there. And then you need to respond to that. You need to show me that you paid attention to my comments too. So in order to get 100 in the discussions, you need a total of 4 posts. It's that simple, all right? 1 original post where you respond yourself to the topic, respond to 2 peers, and then respond to me. That total of 4. If I'm not there, if I forget, it can happen. Make sure you just have 4 posts and you'll be fine. You'll get that 100, okay? Assuming they have some good content. All right. During Unit 1, we're going to do a PowerPoint, and I know this is very surprising to some students. Okay, why are we doing that? PowerPoint is a form of writing. Okay, the Internet is a totally new form of writing. Over the last 10 years, it's developed its own form of writing. PowerPoint helps you write for the Internet because PowerPoint uses chunks of information, just like the Internet uses chunks of information. And plus, it serves as an icebreaker. We get to know each other. It's a lot of fun. That kind of a thing. I'm also going to introduce you to MilBlog in Unit 1, military blog. I'm an Army veteran myself, the Vietnam War era, and I believe very strongly that it's good for us to know what's really going on with these kinds of issues. And I know nowadays many of you have direct experience with the Iraq War. Many of you have brothers, sisters, yourself has been involved, parents, whatever. Okay, so a military blog is very interesting. It's also a genre of writing. I think you're going to like it. I always get a really good response to it. So all this unfolds in the course content folder. You're also going to write what's called a literary narrative this unit. Okay, it's just a 2-page essay. It's not a killer, right? It's like a memoir, but it's about writing, early experiences with writing or reading, or somebody teaching you writing or reading, that kind of thing. And then last but not least, at the end of the unit, I give you, it's called item 10 in Unit 1. I want you to make sure that you look at what's called viewing my comments. I grade by revision. I give extensive comments Not so much writing comments. I do it with audio files. I kind of tell you what I'm thinking. I ask you a few questions. You'll see a few written comments, but I don't go through your papers and mark them with a red pen, that kind of thing. I don't do that, okay? But it's very important that you view my comments on your work. Otherwise, we both wasted each other's time, all right? So item 10 in the Unit 1 Learning module helps you view my comments. And then there is a Unit 1 graded quiz. There's a quiz at the end of the unit. I want to make sure you take that because it goes over some of the important terms and that kind of thing. So to summarize, it's critical that you read the syllabus. Please read the syllabus. It's absolutely critical. You must know the course policies, okay? Don't get to the end of the semester and say, oh, I didn't know this. I say, yes, you do. It's in the syllabus, all right? Then there's 2 major assignments, a PowerPoint and a literary narrative. And then there's a variety of weekly discussions, and you need to do those. Please contact me by my Blackboard mail. Just click on Browse for Recipients, and you'll find my mail address there. It's strictly within Blackboard. You can't use other addresses in there if you have questions. And also, please set up office hours. I'd love to talk to you face-to-face over the internet, or we can do chat, whichever works for you. Skype is really fun. All right, chat's fine too. So either way, please avail yourself of my office hours. I'd like to go back briefly to the syllabus. As I said, it outlines the late policy. It also outlines how I actually grade your papers, and it's actually kind of a learning tool. If you look at the criteria that I set up in the syllabus for your papers, it tells you the kinds of things I want you to be really concentrating on while you're doing your writing, okay? And then it also explains how everything's weighted. Blackboard calculates your grades for you. All right, it tells me what your grade's going to be because it's calculated. Everything's weighted. The discussions count for like 20% of your total grade. Okay, there's quizzes that count for about 15%, something like that. Then the major projects all count, and everything gets weighted, and then you get a class grade based on a scale of 100. All right. As I said earlier, the discussions are critical. Don't get behind in them. I do not grade late discussions. Discussions create a classroom environment. They help us to get to know what each other is thinking. Plus, they provide brainstorming for all the papers. Don't try to write your papers until you've done the discussions. Okay, the discussions help lead you up to your papers. As I said earlier, everything's sequenced about this course. I've given it a lot of thought, a lot of consideration. I'm an expert internet instructor, okay? If you don't succeed in this course, it's because you didn't do the work. It's not because you're a bad writer. Okay, it's because you didn't do the work. And speaking of which, let me tell you this, Blackboard does track your time spent inside Blackboard. And I get to the end of the semester, and I have students have like only 16 hours in there, and they wonder why they got a D. Okay, it's not because I gave them a D because they had 16 hours. It's because they just didn't do the work. All right, I have other students in there who had 85 hours in there, or at least 50 or 60. They got an A. That's not rocket science. That's because they did the work, they got the grade. So I really, really want you to do the work, and I want you to succeed, and I guarantee you, you'll get the grade. Now, you'll hear from me on your PowerPoints and on your literacy narrative, and then I'll have a new video like this at the beginning of Unit 2. So please play back this video several times. That'd be helpful to you. And thank you for your attendance today.